take the place of the children's moment today. 100 years ago today, the world marked the end of the war to end all wars. On the 11th day of the 11th month, at 11 a.m. in 1918, the World War ended. That's what it was called. Of course, we've had wars before this: the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Spanish-American War, and the Civil War, and have had wars since: World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, and Iraq. We've had many conflicts between, including the Cold War. But the one thing that these have all had in common is the men and women who were called and went. They all left home and sacrificed their friends, families, and lived their lives for others. Why do we honor these men and women who serve? Jesus said, "Greater love has no one than this, to lie down one's life for one's friends." This is ultimately what each and every person commits to when they enter into the United States military. This ultimate sacrifice. But there is other sacrifice. From the minute they enter boot camp, they are disciplined. They are set apart from the rest of society. No longer able to do or say what they want. No longer able to refuse to do what they are told. They are sleep deprived. They are made to push themselves physically more than they ever have before. They are taxed mentally and emotionally, constantly being trained to make the ultimate sacrifice, if called to do so. Our military members continue to live under these conditions throughout their military service. And when called upon, they put this training into action. Many have seen war, and all the depravities that come with it. But these men and women of our military have not just been sent into battle. They have been sent into the worst conditions this world has to help those oppressed and those in the midst of devastation. Veterans of the United States have helped starving people receive food, those who are thirsty to have water, and those who are naked to be clothed. They have been there when people are trapped under the rubble from an earthquake, or when the floodwaters have devastated the land, and in many of these instances with their own lives in jeopardy. These conditions our men and women in our military have seen, and all they have lived through, affect them for the rest of their lives. So why do we honor them? Because they put others first, just as Jesus taught us to do. These men and women have served our nation, and they have also served our God. Some made the ultimate sacrifice, but all sacrificed more than we as a nation can ever repay. So please join me in honoring our current and former soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines with the heart of a grateful people.
Shut the door. You crossed the sea to fight a war. You didn't know just what would happen to you. Stepped in the dirt, boots on the ground, and gunfire was the only sound. And to yourself you whispered, "Hallelujah, Hallelujah." Hallelujah.
As we have just seen the pictures of those within our midst that have served and are serving, I'd like to ask anyone who is a veteran or is currently serving in the military to please stand. And if you don't, I'm going to have Larry call you out. So, stay standing. Now, don't sit down. I know you can obey orders because you're in the military. You're sitting down. Stand back up. If you are near one of these folks, and that includes Mr. Powers standing in the back as an usher, would you please lay your hands on them? We're going to do a prayer blessing on these folks. So just stand up right where you're at. Place a hand on the shoulder. Will someone please come and put a hand on Larry's shoulder? And for those of you who are listening, I ask you just to remember your loved ones who have served and are serving as we lift this prayer. God of compassion, God of dignity and strength, watch over the veterans of the United States in recognition of their loyal service to our nation. Bless them with wholeness and love. Shelter them. Heal their wounds. Comfort their hearts. Grant them peace. God of justice and truth, rock of our lives, bless our veterans, these men and women of courage and valor, with a deep and abiding understanding of our profound gratitude. Protect them and their families from loneliness and want. Grant them lives of joy and bounty. May their dedication and honor be remembered as a blessing from generation to generation. Blessed are you, protector and redeemer, our shield and our stronghold. Amen. All right, as you have a seat,